Nice gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 5 upsets to bet. Last week was big on this video. Let's hunt for some more. First game, we got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Los Angeles Rams. Rams are plus 4.5. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that the Rams can win this game. And when you look at it, it does seem a little bit lopsided. What are the Rams' weaknesses? Offensive line and secondary. We know that Eagles' defensive line is prolific. We know they're nasty. And we know what A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith can do. But when I look at this matchup, I think Cooper Kupp is the X factor. It looks like he'll be back. It looks like he'll be on the field. And for me, that tilts the advantage in the Rams. And when I look at the Eagles, I'm not low on the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles suck. I don't think they're going to be fading away as the season goes on. But I don't feel like the Eagles have played their best football. When you look at that Commanders game, you see some of the issues. A big issue with the Eagles is their secondary. They haven't been covering anyone. And when you turn on a Tampa Bay game with Baker, that's not going to show up. And it probably shouldn't show up when you're playing Sam Howell. But it will show up when you're playing the surgeon Matt Stafford. And McVay will get the ball out of his hands quick. I don't think we'll see a lot of Jalen Carter. I don't think we'll see a lot of Stafford getting sacked. Listen, we know the Eagles' defensive line is going to win battles. Like, that's just going to happen. That's how it's going to be. But I think Stafford gets the ball out of his hand in like 2.5 seconds, 2.8 seconds. And I think that's the difference in this game. And I don't like doing this. But does anyone else feel like the Eagles are due for a loss? Does anyone else feel like the Eagles need a loss to wake them up, to get them back into last year's form? And a lot of Eagles fans say, like, listen, this new offensive coordinator, it just hasn't meshed yet. It's just a little bit out of rhythm. And I think that's enough to lose a game on the road. And this is an upset for a reason. It's not a slam dunk. We all know the Eagles are the better team. We all know the weapons on the Eagles are about as good as it gets at this NFL level. But I do feel an upset coming here. I think McVay coaches a good game. Matt Stafford has a very efficient game. And I think this is a scrappy game. And I believe the Rams pull it off. And I like how this is rising. I saw some books it was Rams plus 5. Rams plus 5.5 on some books. Give me the Rams to win in the cover. I like this one. Next game, we got the New York Jets at the Denver Broncos. Jets plus 1.5. Well, after I made the pick yesterday, it moved down a point. It was at 2.5. Now it's at 1.5. And I just picked the Jets money line. And last week I feasted on these games. Now, I know it's not a colossal upset when it's plus 2, plus 1.5. But let's be real, man. Going into Mile High Stadium is never an easy feat. You better bring your toolbox. You better bring your, what is the thing you breathe into? We know how it gets there. We know how good a home field advantage it is. Randy Gregory, released by the Broncos today, is kind of writing on the wall. This is Sean Payton saying, like, listen, this team isn't going anywhere. We need to rebuild for next year. And the Jets haven't thrown in the towel yet. This Jets defense will control the game. And I've been one of the few people shedding a little bit of positivity on Russell America Wilson. But it's looking pretty grim in this game. And one thing people don't talk about with the Broncos, we know the defense is absolute trash. And I could say that all day, been saying it since week 2. But when you look at this matchup, I just don't think the Broncos' offensive line can handle the physicality, the malice of the Jets' defensive line. And I'm not sure these Broncos receivers are winning enough. Like, we saw the rookie Mims make a big catch last week, but what's happening to Cortland Sutton? What's happening to Jerry Jeudy? Where the fuck is Tim Patrick? None of those guys seem to really be fighting for the cause Randy Gregory was released for a reason. I just don't think there's a lot of fight in this Broncos team. I don't think there's a lot of upside in this Broncos team. And I know Zach Wilson, hinging your prospects on him is bad, man. It's like saying you can be an alcoholic and do something. Like, it is risky, it can happen, but you don't like doing it. You don't like taking the chance. Give me the Jets, man. I think they play better defense, and I think they run the ball better than the Broncos. The only bright spot of the Broncos has been Javonte Williams this year running the rock. I'm just not sure the Broncos offense line gets a sufficient push. Jets to win in the cover, upset. Next game, we got the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar. The Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are +4. Does everyone forget how these games normally go? Or am I the only one who has a memory over a year or a year and a half? Listen, this Pittsburgh Steelers team is bad. And I picked the Texans on this very show last week. Did I think the Texans would win by more than 20 points? No, but I thought the Texans would win, and I thought they would win comfortably. But this is at Heinz Field. And when the Steelers play at Heinz Field, ask the Browns in week 2 what happens when you play there. Crazy shit happens, stuff you can't account for with a spreadsheet and watching on film. Just lots of stuff happens you can't account for. And I'm going to go to the Ravens. I know everyone's excited, saying they're running away with the AFC North. The AFC North is decided. And listen, Bengals don't look good. Steelers don't look good. Deshaun Watson hasn't looked good with his injury with the Browns. I don't think it's over, and I don't think the Ravens are that good. And I think if Deshaun Watson played that game, the Ravens would have lost. Now, I do like the way the Ravens defense is coming along. Kyle Hamilton has been absolutely phenomenal. But the Steelers have been actually running the ball well. And I think they stick to running the ball this game. And I believe this is closer than you think. And whenever a Mike Tomlin team has their back up against a wall, they don't get in the fetal and take it. They get up scratching and clawing, and I think the Steelers win the physical battle in this matchup. Not a lot of science, and also, I'm not worried about the Pickett injury. Like I said on Tuesday's show, I think Mitch Trubisky is actually a little bit of an upgrade over Kenny Pickett due to his mobility. We know the Steelers' offense is putrid, but I think this is a 75-73 NFL-era football game. This isn't going to be high scoring. This is going to be like a 2017, 17-14 type game. Steelers shock the world and grind this shit out. Next game, we got the Green Bay Packers at the Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders +1. Raiders got to do something, right? They got to do something. I mean, some of these performances are puzzling. And like I said, week 1 or week 2, I don't think this team's fighting for Josh McDaniels. I don't think this man knows how to coach football. But with that being said, I have tons of questions about the Green Bay Packers. How are they going to respond from that ass whooping Dan Campbell's boys put on them on Thursday night? I mean, that is one question that we need to ponder. Secondly, are the Packers ever going to get healthy? I mean, Christian Watson, we're looking for him on a damn milk carton. I just don't know if Jordan Love has enough weapons. And this Raiders defense has showed sign this year of playing better. And let's be real about that Raiders-Chargers game. If Jimmy G was playing that game as below average as that man is, the Raiders would have won that. And I don't think the Raiders have a home field advantage. That doesn't even factor into this game when you play in Las Vegas, unfortunately. I do think the Raiders' run game gets going. And it's been putrid, it's been pathetic, and honestly, it's been embarrassing to watch. But I do think the Raiders' run game gets going. I do think this Packers team struggles to move the ball on offense. Also, I'm wondering, are the Packers going to be able to protect Jordan Love? I mean, that's one thing Packers bettors have been falling back on for a long time. They're going to protect the quarterback. Quarterback's not going to get hit. How many times did the Lions hit Jordan Love? Crosby running wild about them. I think the Raiders shocked the world. I know it's only one, but I'm sure most of the money will be with Jordan Love and the Packers. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. The best gambling show on the internet. Patreon, $5 enough. Come $5 a month. Come ride with me. Great to see you all this week. I'll be in the comment section.